I was working with a high-flying business person, and the area he wanted to work on was whenever he'd come home from work, he was reacting really angrily with his children more often than he would have liked to. We worked together, and one thing that we'd established is in certain situations, the parent sees the perceived faults in the child that he once had, or she once had, in this case, that he once had, and tries to use the same methods he used for himself as a child. Now, obviously, the methods he used for himself as a child weren't as sophisticated as the ones that he learnt later on in life to become a very successful business person. But what he was doing when he was in the situation where he was tired, a bit angry, had work pressure, he'd react in a way that would take him back to a point in his life that he would do as a child to correct some of these perceived faults that were pointed out often by his own parents. And these moments happen so quickly that when you have insight and awareness in how you process information coming in from the outside, you can change your behavior or how you react to certain events and information constantly coming in. So in the case of this situation, the appraisal of the children asking him a question, or asking if they could go out and do some sport, or asking if it could make him something to eat or drink, and so on and so forth. And his reaction, by being emotionally self-aware, and rather than reacting, buying time, 6 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pushing that to the logical brain, the neocortex, and separating the mesh between thoughts, behavior, emotion, physiology. And by doing that, what we're able to do is get to recognize the emotion, not beat himself up even more than what he needed to do. He realized that something wasn't right, wanted to work out, and to make it more benign, accept it's there, not resign to being that way, accept it's there, and just investigate a bit deeper. And through that investigation, we managed to establish that, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes the parent sees the perceived faults in the child that he or she once had and tries to use the same methods they used for themselves as children. And these methods aren't always the best, because he was, doing things that he wouldn't normally do, like outbursts and swearing and doing things he wouldn't normally do. And by having that realization, we could then look at new ways to deal with situations. So with role play, so the role play would be, if the kids come in and can we go outside and play, he'd wait before he responded, the gap between impulse and action. And that really helped him come a long way to making the behaviors more benign and more positive moving forward. So one of the things, the takeaways today, is the parent sees the perceived faults in the child that he or she once had and tries to use the same methods that they used as a child themselves. So live with passion. Boom.